नॉर्थ ईस्ट लाइव सभी को मेरा शुक्रिया।
Watch Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m. only on Northeast Live. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Evening Prime is brought to you by Misho, TVS Jupiter 125, Zada Se Bhi Zada, Vimal Ilaichi, Oil India Limited, Everyday Spices, Leah Agarbatti, TVS Apache RTR, and Himalaya Purifying Neem Face Wash, Pimple Free, Healthy Skin Ka Expert. Amid supply crisis due to floods in Assam, Mizoram rations purchase of fuel. State considering supply of essential commodities from Bangladesh via Tripura. Signs of bigger conspiracy. New angles come to the fore in Batadrawa arson case. From drug peddlers to habitual offenders, all were part of mob that gathered outside police station, says Assam DGP. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's massive Indian community outreach in Japan. Prime Minister Modi pitches of Atmanirbhar Bharat for establishing a global supply chain. Assam flood situation continues to be grim. Over 7 lakh people still affected in 22 districts. Death toll due to floods and landslides rises to 24. And a row over collapse of dome of under construction Meghalaya Assembly. Congress demands independent probe into incident. Hello and welcome to Evening Prime. I'm Priyadarshini Medhi and we start the bulletin with the top focus from Mizoram. Supply of essential commodities has been hit badly in the hill state due to the floods and landslides in Assam, forcing the state government to push for supply of essentials from Bangladesh via Tripura. Moreover, with shortage of fuel in the state, the government has decided to ration the purchase of petrol and diesel for two-wheelers and light motor vehicles. To avoid panic buying, the government has put a cap of 5 litres for two-wheelers and 10 litres for light motor vehicles. Well, this was informed by State Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Minister K. Lalrin Liana. Lalrin said that the restrictions were imposed on the sale of petrol to ensure equal distribution and ensure that the filling stations did not run dry. Well, the state government also urged people not to indulge in panic buying as the oil supply is still coming in from Assam and the state government is looking for an alternative to bring in more supplies. Meanwhile, it was also made clear that until the rail tracks are repaired, fuel distribution would have to be rationed. So, big story we are tracking from Mizoram viewers. Well, supply of essential commodities has been hit badly in the hill state due to the floods and landslides in Assam, forcing the state government to push for supply of essentials from Bangladesh via Tripura. Moreover, with shortage of fuel in the state, the government has decided to ration the purchase of petrol and diesel for two-wheelers and light motor vehicles. To avoid panic buying, the government has put a cap of 5 liters for two wheelers and 10 liters for light motor vehicles. This was informed by State Food, Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs Minister K. Lal Randala. Lal Randala said that the restrictions were imposed on the sale of petrol to ensure equal distribution and ensure that the filling station did not run dry. The state government also urged people not to indulge in panic buying as the oil supply is still coming in from Assam and the state government is looking for an alternative to bring in more supplies. Meanwhile, it was also made clear that until the rail tracks are repaired, fuel distribution would have to be rationed.
We have rice stock 2.5 months requirement and petrol 40,000 liters only, and diesel is 50,000 liters only. Our government is continuing to explore other alternative measures as we speak. For our oil and gas requirement, we have deployed pilot tracks which are now homebound, and likewise, all efforts are made to strengthen road infrastructure so as to induct supplies from this state Tripura, and possible trade in this regard with our international borders countries like Bangladesh is also being explored.
And to know more on this, we are being joined over phone line with our correspondent Isaac Zoramthanga from Aizawl. So, Isaac, supply of essential commodities has been hit badly in Mizoram. So, tell us about the exact situation, Isaac.
Yes, as the state as the state minister, as the state food, civil supplies and consumer affairs minister, Mr. Larile, has stated, the state is in short of these essential commodities of this rice and even oil and even gas also. So yes, the state is looking for some possible measures to vary these essential commodities via Bangladesh. So the state government has also made approach the Ministry of External Affairs for the approval to vary these essential commodities via Bangladesh, and also these so many vehicles have been gone to take essential oil, to take petroleum through Guwahati. So the minister have said that 30 trucks have been taking petroleum and also returned to the state. But however, there's so many needs in the state. This has been a small quantity of this oil has been taken. So the state government is trying to explore more essential commodities to curb these problems which face in the state of Mizoram. Priya.
So, Isaac, is panic buying going on by the people in the state?
As of now, the state government has controlled all the shops, almost all the shops. There are no panic buying which have been seen in the shops mostly. There are so many due to this incident in other states, due to this transportation problems. This essential, this panic buying of this rice is nowhere to be seen in the state. But this oil, so many long lines of this petrol, long lines of this in the petroleum stations, and also in the gas in every locality where they can take gas also. So, but due to in rice, especially in rice, there are no shortage of rice as we can see from today. But especially in petrol and gas, there are long lines of petrol and gas intake of capacity in the.
All right, Isaac, thank you so much for all those details. And on to the top story of this hour, viewers. Well, in a sensational development, Guwahati-based entrepreneur and actor George Baudelaire died of suicide today. Baudelaire has accused a vice-chancellor of Don Bosco University, Father Stephen Mavely, of abating his suicide in a note which he has left behind. The Sonapur police, meanwhile, has detained Father Mavely for interrogation. And it may be mentioned here that Baudelaire wrote his suicide note in affidavit wherein he accused Father Mavely and his son of destroying the property of Don Bosco University. So, big story we are tracking this evening, viewers. Indeed, a sensational development. Guwahati based entrepreneur and actor George Baudelaire died of suicide today. Baudelaire has accused Vice Chancellor of Don Bosco University, Father Stephen Mavely, of abating his suicide in a note which he has left behind. The Sonapur police, meanwhile, has detained Father Mavely for interrogation. It may be mentioned here that Baudelaire wrote his suicide note in affidavit wherein he accused Father Mavely and his son of destroying the property of Don Bosco University. And time for a very short break now. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
চাওঁচোন কোন নতুন খেলুৱৈ আহিছে
বজাই দিম আজি
মৰমেৰে বুজাম লাহে লাহে কৰি
তেওঁ আমাৰ মাত কথাই
এয়াতো আমাৰেই মাত কথা যদি এক তেন্তে হৃদয়ো এক হোৱা উচিত विमल কক ভাষা কেसरी
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाच गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. What's trending? Who are the biggest newsmakers of the day? What are the issues affecting people?
Center hand once again extended. Are you ready to agitate?
नॉर्थ लाइव सभी को मेरा शुक्रिया
Watch Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m. only on Northeast Live. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Welcome back. You're watching Northeast Live and moving on now. Well, Dima Hasao is slowly recovering from the damages inflicted by floods and landslides. While the government has ensured that nothing falls short in dealing with the crisis, the affected people are still in a state of panic and uncertainty regarding the future. Our colleague Swati Bhasamsa brings you a special ground zero report from the current situation of the Hill District. Take a look at the story. After days of battling the fury of floods, Assam is gradually coming back to normalcy in the absence of rains. However, what now remains is a grim sight. Dima Hasao, which is considered as a place of serenity, tranquility, and tourism, is now in shambles. And the visuals on your screen clearly proves it. For instance, look at the new Haflong station, which was once filled with people, now wears a deserted look. The station is now surrounded by derailed trains and dangling railway tracks. Our correspondent Swadip Hasamsa visited the station for an in-depth coverage of the situation from ground zero.
न्यू हाफलोंग रेलवे स्टेशन दो पहाड़ों के बीच से गुजरने वाले एक रेलवे स्टेशन, एक खूबसूरत सा एक स्टेशन हुआ था, लेकिन आज उसका हालत कैसा है आप सबको हम दिखाएंगे। और ये रेलवे स्टेशन नाइबरिंग स्टेट्स मणिपुर, त्रिपुरा, मिजोरम जैसे स्टेट को कनेक्ट करने वाले में से एक कनेक्शन करने वाला एक रेलवे स्टेशन था।
The grim situation of the station has also affected lives of traders for whom the station was a source of their earning daily bread and butter. Several small-time stall owners, including tea sellers and bakeries, among others, have been devastated. The affected people are living in a state of uncertainty, for they have no answer as to how they will make their ends meet.
न्यू हाफलोंग रेलवे स्टेशन में बहुत सारे लोगों का यहाँ पर एक तरफ से रोजी रोजगार भी था। उसी रोजी रोजगार जो यहाँ पर पे जो लोग बाहर से आते हैं, इसी रेलवे स्टेशन में हर ट्रेन रुकता था और उनमें से उन लोगों को खाने पीने का या चाय या जो भी है सामान वगैरह जो भी उनको ऑफर किया जाता था। और इस वक्त दादा आपसे जानते हैं कि आप यहाँ पर हर रोज ट्रेन जब भी आता था, चाय बिस्किट ये जो भी वगैरह जो सामान है अब इस ट्रेन से ही चलता था आपका परिवार। अभी आपका हालत कैसा है?
अभी हमारा हालत तो एकदम बुरी हो गया, हम तो चल नहीं सकते हैं। हाँ। क्या करके खाएगा यही सोचते हैं मैं। अच्छा। और क्या हमारा तो इतना दुख तकलीफ है। हाँ। जो ट्रेन चलते हुए भी 200 100 150 बिक्री होता था, अभी तो कुछ नहीं है, तो हम क्या कैसे चलेगा, कैसे खाएगा?
अभी परिवार चलाने में तकलीफ हो रहा है आपको?
बहुत तकलीफ हो रहा है।
कितना दिन हो गया आपको ऐसा?
ऐसा हो गया हमारा 15 दिन हो गया सर।
The station, which suffered the worst impact of the floods, is located amid the Borel Hills and has a muddy terrain. Heavy rains and consequential landslides at the neighboring Boro Haflong region brought flood waters and sludge in large quantity towards the station and inundated it within minutes. It is learned that the construction of the station does not comply with its geographical terrain.
ये जो रेलवे स्टेशन जो दब गया था वो कहाँ से आया था? पत्थर जमीन कहाँ से एक्चुअली कहाँ से सिकिंग हुआ था उसको हम दिखाते हैं। ये जो यही जमीन था जो ऊपर से एक बोरो हाफलोंग में एक लैंडस्लाइड हुआ है बड़ा सा, वो लैंडस्लाइड का जो यहाँ पर जो आते 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 इस रेलवे स्टेशन को ही पूरा मलबे में दब दिया गया है। और ये रेलवे स्टेशन पूरी मिट्टी से भरा हुआ रेलवे स्टेशन बन गया। अभी इसको रिस्टोर करते करते बहुत ही वक्त लग सकता है। यहाँ पे कुछ लोगों का साइंटिफिकली, कुछ लोगों का ये भी कहना है कि यहाँ का जो स्टेशन जो है एक साइंटिफिकली कुछ सही सही ढंग से कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं किया गया। और हम भी यही कहना चाहेंगे क्योंकि नीचे में एक नदी है, एक बहुत बड़ा लंबा सा, पूरा जितना स्टेशन लंबा है उतना ही नदी है। और ये नदी का नाम है डिडावला कहा कहते हैं लोकली, और पॉपुलरली डिडावला कहते हैं। और यहाँ का जो स्टेशन के ठीक पास में ही जो एक वाटर लेवल के साथ में ही ये स्टेशन जो है बनाया गया है।
Several roads are also in a deplorable condition following the floods.
रास्ता खराब है, पैदल जाने लगता। हाँ, इधर से जितना आदमी है।
Worth mentioning here, the Dima Hassau administration has been working on a war footing to bring back normalcy in the Hill district. Earlier, we showed the defining images of a group of ministers and senior officials who took a ride on a JCB to inspect the deluged half-long railway station. The occupants of excavator included ministers Jogen Mohan, local MLA Nandita Garlosa, and Deputy Commissioner Nazreen Ahmed. Well, DC Nazreen Ahmed has also assured that restoring railway connectivity in the district would take over a month's time, with authorities working round the clock. All said and done. While it is heartbreaking to see the situation in Dima Hassau, one can only hope that things are fixed soon and life comes back to normal at the earliest. And time for another short break. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
What's trending? Who are the biggest newsmakers of the day? What are the issues affecting people?
Center hand once again extended. Are you ready to agitate?
नोटिस लाइव सभी को मेरा शुक्रिया।
Watch Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m. only on Northeast Live.
চাওচোন কোন নতুন খেলুৱৈ আহিছে।
বজাই দিম আজি।
মৰমেৰে বুজাম, লাহে লাহে কৰি।
তেওঁ আমাৰ মাত কথা কয়।
এয়াতো আমাৰেই মাত কথা। মাত কথা যদি এক, তেন্তে হৃদয়ো এক হোৱা উচিত। বিমল কক ভাষা কেচৰি।
সাধাৰণ ষ্টীল এনেকৈ পৰে, মাইথন ষ্টীল এনেকৈ পৰে, ধমকৈ।
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाच गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूम कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में एक्वालैंड
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Welcome back. You're watching Northeast Live. And now, before moving on to some other news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Amid supply crisis due to floods in Assam, Mizoram Russians purchase of fuel. State considering supply of essential commodities from Bangladesh via Tripura. Signs of bigger conspiracy. New angles come to the fore in Batadrava arson case. From drug peddlers to habitual offenders, all were part of mob that gathered outside police station, says Assam DGP. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's massive Indian community outreach in Japan. Prime Minister Modi pitches of Atmanirbhar Bharat for stabilizing global supply chain. Assam flood situation continues to be grim. Over 7 lakh people still affected in 22 districts. Death toll due to floods and landslides rises to 24. And row over collapse of dome of under construction Meghalaya Assembly. Congress demands independent probe into incident. And onto the Batadrava arson case in Assam now. Well, signs of bigger conspiracy and new twists and turns are coming to the fore in the Batadrava arson case. Well, as per fresh inputs, even drug peddlers and habitual offenders and criminals seem to have been a part of the mob that gathered outside police station and resorted to arson. More sensational video footage have come to the fore from the Batadrava incident. The new video footages indicate that it was not just Joshanara and Shabina who poured petrol, but almost all people were seen carrying bottles filled with petrol. It was, in fact, a planned motive to set the Batadrava police station completely ablaze. So take a look at the dramatic visuals from the incident. Meanwhile, video footages also show that few persons were also seen instigating the mob. Even bottles of petrol were seen being distributed to the mob before the Batadrava police station was set ablaze. And in a big development, the Assam police has recovered arms from the residence of Imran Ali, one of the attackers in the Batadrava case. As per inputs, the police seized a 9mm pistol and 4 rounds of live ammunition. On the other hand, the police has also nabbed a drug peddler identified as Mujibur Rahman for his involvement in the Batadrava violence. Besides, a cash worth rupees 6,500 illegal tablets have also been seized. Meanwhile, the involvement of criminals in the Batadrava arson case has also been exposed. DGP Bhaskar Jyoti Mahanta said that many accused in robbery cases were present at the spot when the Batadrava police station was set on fire. Investigations indicate that habitual offenders had joined the mob with the sole motive of destroying documents related to different cases registered against them. DGP Mahanta said that two dacoits identified as Anwar and Alauddin were spotted in the mob. Meanwhile, it has also come to light that files related to different cases were first set ablaze.
আমি বহুত ভিডিঅ' কিছুমান ষ্টাডি কৰি আছোঁ তাত যিখিনিয়ে লক্ষ্য কৰা গৈছে যে তাত এলিমেণ্টছ অফ প্ৰিপেৰেশ্যন তাত প্ৰস্তুতি এটা আছে এনে হঠাতে মানুহ কিছুমান উত্তেজিত হৈ পেলাই আহি পেলাই হেঁচা মাৰি ধৰাহি নাই তাত প্লেনিং এটা আছে তাত মবিলাইজেশ্যনৰ এটা প্ৰক্ৰিয়া আছে মানুহ অৰ্গেনাইজ কৰে গতিকে এইটো এই যিকোনো সাধাৰণ নদাই ফদাই কৰিব পৰা কাম নহয় তাৰমানে এইটো এটা অৰ্গেনাইজ চিষ্টেমেটিক এটা প্লেনিঙৰ সৈতে কৰা পাব্লিকবোৰৰ মাজত আমি কিছুমান মুখ আইডেণ্টিফাই কৰিছোঁ তাত ড্ৰাগ এডিক্টেই নহয় ড্ৰাগৰ ট্ৰেডিং কৰা এখন বিশেষ মুখে আমাক ইণ্টাৰেষ্টটো বঢ়াইছে তাৰ নাম আনোৱাৰ আৰু এটা ডকাইত নন ডকাইত পাব্লিকৰ মাজত আমি আইডেণ্টিফাই কৰিছোঁ তাৰ নামটো আলাউদ্দিন আৰু নিশ্চয় আৰু এনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ ড্ৰাগ ডিলাৰ্ছ বা বেড কেৰেক্টাৰ্ছ ডকাইত তেওঁলোকৰ বহুত নথিপত্ৰ থানাত আছিলে সেই নথিপত্ৰ জ্বলোৱাটোৰ এটা তেওঁলোকৰ নিশ্চয় উদ্দেশ্যও আছিলে
Videos shot on Sunday when the Batadrava police station was set ablaze clearly shows that a drugs dealer identified as Lalu pelting stones at the police station. And however, the offender is absconding. Meanwhile, another key accused in the case, Joshanara Begum, is still on the run, and it may be mentioned here that the accused had set the police station on fire after another lady identified as Sabina Khatun had sprayed kerosene before ignition. Meanwhile, the sub-Congress has demanded that sitting judge of the Guwahati High Court, Batadrava, must investigate the Batadrava case thoroughly. Well, the working president of APCC, Rana Goswami, said that the death of a man in custody and the consequent violence are both condemnable offences, and it is imperative for all perpetrators involved to be punished.
इसमें दो पार्ट है एक पार्ट की पुलिस का जिम्मा में रहने वाला एक आदमी को यहाँ मौत हो गया था पुलिस का जिम्मा में रहने वाला जो भी आसामी हो साइड हो गुनाहगार हो ना गुनाहगार हो उसको मर जाना तो कोई इसको कभी ग्रहणयोग्य नहीं होता है साथ साथ में ऐसे एक सरकारी जो प्रॉपर्टी को इसको जो जितना कागजात है सरकारी कागजात है उसको जला के इससे कार्रवाई करना का भी मतलब कोई समर्थन योग्य नहीं है कोई भी हालत में किसी क्रिमिनल को किसी गुनहगार को हम लोग बसाने नहीं चाहते उसको जो कार्रवाई होगा आईनी प्रक्रिया से जो सजाए देगा जो राय देगा उसको कांग्रेस पार्टी सम्मान करेगा लेकिन साथ साथ में हम लोग ये भी दावा करता हूँ कौन सा सच है कौन सा झूठ है उसको निकालने के लिए कम से कम गुवाहाटी हाई कोर्ट का एक सिटिंग जज देके उसको इंक्वायरी होना चाहिए और जो चाहे इस घटना को दूध का दूध पानी का पानी जो घटना निकाल जाए
Further, the Congress leader also slammed Assam Police as well as Intelligence Bureau for failing to prevent the violence despite suspecting a jihadi angle.
पुलिस का जो हमारा होम डिपार्टमेंट है गृह विभाग है उसका कम से कम जो हमारे इंटेलिजेंस है सुरंगसुआ है इंटेलिजेंस को कम से कम थोड़ा तेज होना चाहिए जो लोग कह रहा है कि जो हमारे यहाँ जिहादी है ये है कम से कम अगर जिहादी है तो वो लोग तो पहले ही क्यों मालूम नहीं पड़ा इस घटना का बाद क्यों मालूम पड़ा तो इंटेलिजेंस फेल है कंप्लीट असम गवर्नमेंट का होम डिपार्टमेंट का जिहादी इंटेलिजेंस फेल है जिस तरह वो लोग बोल रहे हैं जिहादी है ठीक है जिहादी है तो पकड़ो ये तो कोई उसको कांग्रेस पार्टी कोई समर्थन देने वाला चीज नहीं है
Meanwhile, Assam Cabinet Minister Piyush Hazarika reiterated that all perpetrators involved in the case will be punished strictly.
যদি কোনোবা মানুহ পুলিশ কাষ্টডিত ঢুকাইছে বুলি থানাত ঢুকাইছে বুলি যদি এলিগেশ্যন দিছে তাৰ এগেইনষ্টত আমি কি কৰিম এনকুৱাৰী কৰিম কিন্তু তাৰ কাৰণেতো কোনোবাই থানাখন গৈ আক্ৰমণ কৰিব নোৱাৰিব। থানাখন এনেকৈ মেছ মাৰি অন কেমেৰা অন টিভি ৰিপৰ্টাৰৰ আগত এনেকৈ জ্বলাই দিব, বাইক জ্বলাই দিব, আৰ্মছ জ্বলাই দিব, ফাইল জ্বলাই দিব, ঘৰ জ্বলাই দিব, এইটোতো মানি ল'ব নোৱাৰো। আৰু তাৰ বিৰুদ্ধে ব্যৱস্থা ল'মেই, তাৰ বিৰুদ্ধে অতি কঠোৰ ব্যৱস্থা ল'ম। কংগ্ৰেছে যিমান চিঞৰ বাখৰ নকৰক আমি ভয় নাখাওঁ। যিমান কংগ্ৰেছে অসমীয়াক মাৰি থাকে মাৰি থাকক, অসমীয়াক মাৰি থাকে মাৰি থাকক, অসমীয়াৰ বিপক্ষে চিঞৰি থাকক, কিন্তু আমি অসমীয়াৰ হৈ অসমৰ হৈ কাম কৰিম।
And time for another short break. Stay tuned. I'll be right back with more news and updates.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Salmonella.
Absent.
Perfect attendance.
নিমৰ শক্তি ভৰা নিমাইলে আঁতৰাই 100টা বেমাৰ বিয়পোৱা বীজাণু। নিমাইল ঘৰ বিশুদ্ধ ঘৰ।
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे सताओ ऐश करो नाच गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
সাধারণ স্টিল এনেকৈ পৰে, মাইথন স্টিল এনেকৈ পৰে, ধমকৈ।
আনন্দৰ উৎসৱ বিহু আহিছে, ঘৰে ঘৰে আহাৰৰ সোৱাদ জাগিছে। এভৰিডে স্পাইচেছ উইশেছ ইউ এ হেপী বিহু।
অসম চৰকাৰৰ শিক্ষা বিভাগৰ পদক্ষেপ গুণোৎসৱ 2022 শিক্ষাৰ মান উন্নত কৰি কাৰ্যকৰী কৌশল নিৰ্ধাৰণ কৰাৰ লগতে বিদ্যালয়সমূহৰ পৰিৱেশৰ উন্নতি সাধনৰ লক্ষ্যৰে 10খন জিলাত ইতিমধ্যে গুণোৎসৱৰ প্ৰথম পৰ্যায় সফলতাৰে সামৰণি পৰে যোৱা 14 মে'ত। গুণোৎসৱৰ প্ৰথম পৰ্যায়ত পোৱা সঁহাৰিৰ পিছত এই মূল্যাংকনৰ দ্বিতীয় পৰ্যায় অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব 23 মে'ৰ পৰা আৰু তৃতীয় পৰ্যায় অনুষ্ঠিত হ'ব 1 জুনৰ পৰা। গুণোৎসৱ 2022 অসম চৰকাৰৰ শিক্ষা বিভাগৰ একান্ত প্ৰচেষ্টা।
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage. What's trending? Who are the biggest newsmakers of the day? What are the issues affecting people?
Center hand once again extended. Are you ready to agitate?
Notice live सभी को मेरा शुक्रिया।
Watch Evening Prime every day at 7 p.m. only on Northeast Live.
Welcome back. You're watching Northeast Live and moving on to Arunachal Pradesh now. The elections for various posts of the All Arunachal Pradesh Students Union has been action-packed and even controversial, with violence being witnessed during the polling process. Has there been any outside factor trying to affect the polls to an extent? Why such widespread violence this time? Could the polls have been handled in a much better way? Well, our Itanagar correspondent Meme Mangfi caught up with APSU General Secretary Tabom Dai to get answers to some of these questions. Listen in.
Well, we have Mr. Dawam with us right now, who is the outgoing General Secretary and a caretaker of APSU as of now. Mr. Dai, let's get started with this election, APSU election 2022. What is the status now? We've been informed that you were right inside the premise, attending a crucial meeting.
The election, as all of you are seeing, that it has been a fun, festive, and also there have been certain events of violence also. But overall, it's still going on, and there's a stalemate here. There is a bit of a problem for certain districts, 2 districts right now on delegations. But the election commission and outgoing team is working on it, and we're hopeful that something concrete will be something concrete will come out from that.
Okay, Mr. Dai, what do you think that, what might have gone wrong this time in this APSU election 2022? As we can see that, lots of severe violence happening this time, and moreover, the election this time is taking too long.
Uh, the violence, I think it has been because of the, I must admit also, because there have been certain shortcomings from our team also in the registration process, and it has been corrected now. So most of the things are resolved. But as I said earlier, only now 2 districts are there, and it's been pending, and we are seeing into that. And in student elections, there are, such things usually happens. But you have to see the brighter side of also that lots of maximum students from different corners of the state has converged here and have exchanged their ideas. We have seen that it was kind of an festive atmosphere here. It's like a carnival, and then also there was the other side of that. So we can take it on average that the election process will be somehow will culminate, and the APSU will get new leaders.
Now, talking about this APSU election 2022, every student of the state have got their own right to choose their leader and cast vote. So we got to hear some, information through some sources that, how true is that? I don't know, but, that some group held a meeting with the District Student Union of TCL region at Dimapur regarding, to choose the right leader who thinks for the welfare of the TCL region. How far is this, how far is this news true? And then don't you think, some outfits from other state are influencing the student politics of Arunachal?
The news and the subject is already in the public domain, and it has been widely covered in the local media last time that the district students unions of our TCL region were called up at Hebron. It came Hebron at Dimapur, and where I think when I spoke to them, many of the leaders who were here were participating in the APSU election. I spoke to them about their meeting. What they told me is that it was a general discussion. They were just telling that other subjects were also there, and then APSU regarding the leadership also was there. That they were telling that new leaders of that you should choose new leaders who will work for the TCL region. So that was what they told me. And if there is, we are also hearing that they have been very they are involving in the APSU election process, and if that's happening, it's a very sorry state of affairs. And I believe that organizations like Underground and the UG groups or the organizations like NACN, I think they won't be participating in the APSU. They won't be coaching the students of the TCL region to elect certain leaders. And I don't believe that. But if that happens, it will be a curse for the student movement in the state. And I also believe that the student community of the state who have been participating, who have took part in this election, will surely not elect a leader who isn't backed by a certain organizations from outside.
All right, viewers, so coming back to the top focus. Well, in a sensational development, Guwahati-based entrepreneur and actor George Bordoloi died of suicide today. Bordoloi has accused the Vice-Chancellor of Don Bosco University, Father Stephen Mavely, of abating his suicide in a note which he has left behind. The Sonapur police, meanwhile, has detained Father Mavely for interrogation. It may be mentioned here that Father Mavely had earlier accused Bordoloi and his son of destroying the property of Don Bosco University and even filed an FIR against the duo. Bordoloi allegedly took the extreme step after he could not tolerate the allegation, which he said was false in his suicide note. So, big story we are tracking this evening, viewers. In a sensational development, Guwahati-based entrepreneur and actor George Bordoloi died of suicide today. Well, Bordoloi has accused Vice-Chancellor of Don Bosco University, Father Stephen Mavely, of abating his suicide in a note which he has left behind. The Sonapur police, meanwhile, has detained Father Mavely for interrogation. It may be mentioned here that Father Mavely had earlier accused Bordoloi and his son of destroying the property of Don Bosco University and even filed an FIR against the duo. Bordoloi allegedly took the extreme step after he could not tolerate the allegation, which he said was false in his suicide note. And on to Meghalaya now. Well, the state Congress has demanded an independent inquiry into the collapse of the dome of the under construction Meghalaya Assembly building. Meghalaya Pradesh Congress Committee Working President PNCM, along with former Minister Deborah Marak, expressed concern over the incident, stating that people's lives could have been at risk.
Very sad not only for the Congress party, but for the state as a whole, to see that the dome of the Legislative Assembly building has been collapsed. Let us look at the background right from the day one when the tender has been allotted. I would like to remind all of you that after the tender has been called, we understand that the tender fix is 145 crores. But we fail to understand that the UP-based company, RNN Limited, has quoted it at 127 crore, a difference by 18 crores. We also understand that the BRC company, the BRC Limited, has also participated in the tender process. But it has been rejected because of the inexperience in construction of dome. But it is very conflicting to see that the company that has been rejected because of inexperience for the construction of dome has been allowed as a subcontract. That is very conflict. So the point is, the question is how the company that has been participated in the tendering process, which has been rejected, but still considered allowed to go as a subcontract of the UP-based company RNN Limited. The Congress Party, we want to see that the state government should constitute an inquiry. It will be good if the central agency will come to inquire on all this huge amount, so that anyone who is involved in this very particular project should be punished.
It is really embarrassment for all activities. Now we also, from the party side, MPCC, we are really concerned about it. Now from the party MPCC, we demand independent inquiry into it. Then only we will know exactly what happened.
Meanwhile, Meghalaya Assembly Speaker Medba Lindo also said that there should be an independent inquiry into the collapse of the dome installed at the new assembly building in Maungdyangdang, New Shillong Township. Talking to reporters, Lindo also said that there should be a third-party audit to assess the safety of the left wing and right wing section of the new assembly building.
There has to be an independent inquiry
which will know the root cause of this collapse. And second part of it is that there has to be a third party audit team, okay, which will be constituted to ensure that they do the audit thoroughly, that both the wings which were not damaged at all, whether those also have been affected or not. So that only I can tell you.
On to big national focus now. Well, the BJP government has made Indian democracy strong and resilient in the last 8 years. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in his address to the Indian diaspora in Japan. Well, the Prime Minister is in Tokyo for the Quad Summit. In an address to the Indian community in Tokyo, Prime Minister Modi said that in the last 8 years, the Indian democracy has been made strong and resilient. It is serving as one of the strongest pillars of progress. He said, we are working towards building a system that is not only inclusive but caters to a leak-proof governance to fulfill the aspirations of every citizen, Prime Minister Modi said. Listen.
इस बार जब मैं जापान आया हूं तो हमारे डिप्लोमेटिक संबंधों को 70 साल होने जा रहे हैं, 7 दशक। साथियों, आप भी यहां रहते हुए अनुभव करते होंगे, हिंदुस्तान में भी हर कोई अनुभव करता है कि भारत और जापान नेचुरल पार्टनर है। भारत के विकास में, भारत की विकास यात्रा में जापान की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही है। जापान से हमारा रिश्ता आत्मीयता का है, अध्यात्म का है। जापान से हमारा रिश्ता सहयोग का है, अपनेपन का है। और इसलिए एक प्रकार से इस रिश्ता हमारा सामर्थ्य का है, ये रिश्ता सम्मान का है और ये रिश्ता विश्व के लिए सांझे संकल्प का भी है। ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन को जिस प्रकार
All right, back to region now. Well, the crucial meeting of the Assam cabinet was held in Dispur today. Our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das, caught up with Minister Ranoj Pegu for a briefing on the cabinet resolutions. Listen in.
We have with us Assam Cabinet Minister, Mr. Ranoj Pegu. Well, today there was a cabinet meeting. So what were the discussions and resolution in that meeting?
There were many resolutions, decisions, but particularly the important ones are the Assam government, Assam cabinet has approved the broad framework for implementation of national education policy in higher education. So far, our higher education, this framework was 3+2, 3 years of degree course and 2 years of post-graduation. But today we have approved the new framework of 4+1, the 4-year degree course, where there will be scope for a student to get her or his degree for 3 years, and after that a degree with honors, degree with research, those facilities, those scope will be there. The multidisciplinary principle and the multiple entry and exit things have also been approved. With 1 year of study in a degree course, one can get a certificate, and 2 years of course one can get a diploma. 3 years one can get degree, and 3+1 year extra for honors or for research, or if there will be provision even for a postgraduate diploma. So this new framework has been approved. Now we are appealing, it is up to the universities to sort out the detailed actual syllabus, the curriculum, and that the universities will be doing. We are giving just the framework, and as we have a Rajya state Shiksha Ayog, immediately this framework will be placed in the Rajya Shiksha Ayog, and we hope to get the approval of the Shiksha Ayog also.
All right, that's all we have for now. Keep watching Northeast Live for more news and updates. Thanks for watching.
trending.